the concept of the new globe order and the global elite, and how that divisive rhetoric can actually prevent us from working together for a better world. Blaming all the world's problems on a global elite is a simplistic explanation that distracts from systemic issues. This narrative reduces complex challenges to a single cause, making them appear easier to solve. However, it doesn't address the inherent flaws in systems like capitalism, such as extractivism and the pursuit of infinite growth. By focusing on an elusive enemy, we overlook tangible issues that could be collectively acted upon. If all power is centralized in a global elite, then individual and collective actions seem pointless, which is disempowering. This narrative, ironically, can serve the interests of those who benefit from the status quo. The idea that the market is too fast or smart for anyone to control is another deflection. Markets are constructs with rules, created and enforced by societies and their institutions. While markets have their own dynamics, they are not immune to influence or regulation. Believing in the market's omnipotence excuses us from questioning its impacts, like environmental degradation. It also gives us a free pass to destructive practices under the guise of market efficiency. We must remember that markets are tools, not deities, and they can be reformed to better serve society. There's that book, Degrowth. Great points here. The myth of the new globe order. The term the new global order has been weaponized to create a fear and resistance against global collaboration. It is often used to imply that any form of global governance is an oppressive force. This kind of rhetoric creates distrust and hinders collective efforts, like transitioning to a resource-based economy. It sets up an us versus them dynamic that is counterproductive to unity. Ironically, the belief in a new global order can be a mechanism of control in itself. So how do we reclaim the narrative for genuine collective action? Preppers and the isolation paradox. The prepper movement, focused on individual survival, is a manifestation of fear-based, divisive thinking. While preparedness is wise, the extreme focus on individual survival can perpetuate a cycle of fear and isolation. This mindset implies that societal collapse is inevitable, discouraging collective action to prevent it. By hoarding resources and knowledge, the prepper ethos undermines community resilience. Preparing for the worst as a community is far more effective and sustainable than going at it alone. Isolated bunkers can't replace the collective strength of a united, well-prepared community. The false security of scapegoating. Scapegoating, like blaming a global elite, provides a false sense of security and direction. It creates an us versus them dichotomy, superficially clarifying who is right and who is wrong. But this binary view ignores the multifaceted nature of societal problems. Scapegoating may feel empowering momentarily but solves nothing in the long term. It diverts energy and resources from addressing root causes, like systemic inequality. Progress requires transcending the comfort of scapegoating and facing complex, challenging issues head-on, breaking down the barriers. First, we need to challenge the premise that global cooperation is inherently bad. Skepticism is healthy, but automatically dismissing international efforts does us all a disservice. Transparency and openness are keys to establishing trust. By having open dialogue, we can dispel myths and work on common goals. Focusing on shared values like sustainability can help us find common ground. A collective, decentralized governance model can quell fears of totalitarian control. The power of shared goals. Unifying behind shared objectives allows us to overcome divisive rhetoric. An RBE, rooted in shared values, offers a blueprint for collective action. Remember, unity in action is the best rebuttal to divisive myths. The role of fear and control. Fear is an ancient tool for control. It narrows our focus and prepares us for the fight or flight. When we're afraid, we're more likely to accept simplified narratives than confirm our fears. Fear-based notions like the new globe order create an emotional smokescreen that obscures rational discussion. Being in a state of fear can actually make us more susceptible to manipulation. Therefore, deconstructing these fear-based myths is a form of empowerment. Let's start by asking who benefits by perpetuating all of this. Skepticism versus cynicism. Skepticism and cynicism are not the same. Skepticism seeks truth. Cynicism assures the worst. A skeptic questions the narrative but remains open to evidence. A cynic dismisses any evidence that contradicts their present beliefs. While skepticism can lead to meaningful dialogue, cynicism shuts it down. We should aim to foster a culture of constructive skepticism over debilitating cynicism. To do this, we can encourage critical thinking and open debate. We've explored how blaming a global elite or believing in the market omnipotence distracts from real systemic issues. Divisive narratives creates an us versus them mentality, hindering collective progress. Scapegoating offers a false sense of security but ignores the complexity of societal problems. Questioning these stories is essential for understanding who they truly serve and for enabling change. Real power lies in collective action, driven by critical thinking and a focus on systemic reform. Only by transcending these narratives we can tackle the root causes and work towards a more equitable future.